to shut it down when we all see it. It's everywhere. It's on the blogs. It's everywhere. But yet we're not allowed to bring it up.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I think what's confusing to me is that I feel like we tiptoe around Morgan.
When Garcelle and I have spoken in private, she's been totally understanding of my position that I'm in discussing this. And in front of the other ladies, though, she wants to bring it up and bring it to the table. It just doesn't match our private conversations. So in these moments, I'm like, well, here we go again.
How can we get deeper in our relationship if we can't talk about things?
We don't know what that situation is.
There is no situation there. That's all I have, right? I mean, you guys see where I'm, you know.
Kyle is not being honest about everything that is going on in her relationship.
What do you mean she's not being honest in her relationship with Mo?
Yeah, with Mo or anything else. Like, I don't know anything else that's going on in Kyle's life, okay? But there's been lots of being alluded to about what she's doing. She hasn't told me about it, so how do I know? But my point is that if there are others in the group who believe there's other things going on and she doesn't want to talk about it, I don't know how they're going to be good friends to her if they can't speak about the things that are going on in her life.
However Kyle lives her life is really none of my business. I mean, I'm Kyle's friend. I'm kind of on a need-to-know basis, and I don't really need to know. Actually, Kyle asked me not to say Morgan's name, and I said, okay, fine, no problem.
Even if she said to me, you know, I don't want to talk about it right now, and then later pulled me aside and said, this is why I don't want to talk about it in the group, I would have understood. It's wild. If it was one of us, we would get crucified for doing that.
Okay, I'm listening to your point there.
What's with the deep voice?
That's her serious voice. That's your therapist voice. Go on, Garcelle.
I just started to understand you.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
After 6 years, I think I'm understanding.
If she had just said, you know, listen, I don't want to talk about it because it's this and that. But just to pretend that it's not happening, I think we're not dumb. The people out there are not dumb. We see it.
Before, Garcelle had said, you know, there were certain things about Oliver she didn't want to talk about, and things were off limits, and I have total respect for that. Her son didn't want to shoot this season or be talked about, and that just was not even an option. Sutton couldn't talk about her kids in the beginning. They were underage, they weren't allowed on the show. Like, then we don't do that. Like, you know, ask me about myself and my personal life or whatever, but like, I mean, you understood that when we talked about it before. I mean, obviously, if I've shared things with Garcelle and these conversations were genuine to me, and I leave these conversations feeling like this person's my friend, and then all of a sudden her actions are completely different the next time I see her, of course I'm going to question the validity of, you know, her words to me that we had in private. You know, I just want to say something that's, you know, there's a difference between arguing with a friend and someone that you feel like you have to have your guard up and not trust. You know, I've never felt that with Erika. And even with Dorit, we have been angry. She has said things that have hurt me. I've said things that have hurt her. But I've never felt like I have to have a guard up with Dorit. And I don't feel like I have to have a guard up really with anyone. In this moment, I'm like, wow, do I need to have my guard up with Garcelle and Sutton too at times? It's like, I shouldn't have my feelings hurt after this many years, but I do.
Garcelle, do you wish Sutton had spoken up at the dinner table?
1000%.
Yeah, she doesn't like when I
wish.
don't. Well,
yes,
you know,
yes,
I've been trying to be very respectful of what's going on in Kyle's life because there's so much, and honestly, it's true.
I'm not saying it's not true. I just think it's bullshit, honestly. Because I think we've talked about that. We've talked about her. We've talked about her on camera when she's not around. And then here we are at this table, and you're not backing me up.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I think what's confusing to me is that I feel like we tiptoe around Morgan.
One day, you know, maybe I'll have a great story to share with you guys. Maybe I will not deal, maybe I don't.
I hope you do.
Well,
I hope you have a great story to tell.
Dorit.
I hope you have a great story to tell.
You know, it'd be different if Garcelle said something and then Kyle was like, you're right, I should blah, 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 and then had gotten into the conversation, and then Sutton would have also then jumped in. That's different.
Yep.
But if Garcelle is challenging and then Kyle just is, I'm not giving you anything, and then Sutton doesn't even add on to it, then Garcelle looks crazy.
Yeah.
I wish you would have said something.
Like an
so that
island.
I'm not the only one asking all the questions.
And I will always speak up for myself. It had been a very long day. I had just dealt with that person, tired. I may have zoned out, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you feel that way. I really am. But you're talking about a picture in a magazine, right?
A lot of pictures.
Just the scenario, the narrative of is she not, is she not? And she doesn't have to tell me if she is or she not, but can we talk about it? Can we not, are we not supposed, we're supposed to act like we don't see it.
But I wasn't understanding. I'm dealing with Dorit, which is a lot. And I'm like, you know, just leave Kyle alone.
You could have backed me up and then came to the room and said, leave Kyle alone.
Garcelle knows
It would be
how Sutton
frustrating.
feels.
Yeah.
And so if Garcelle knows how Sutton feels, and then at the table, Sutton isn't saying anything, then I can understand why Garcelle would be frustrated.
Me too. She's kind of leaving
She's
Garcelle.
like, I'm out here by myself.
Yeah.
Now I'm over here challenging her, and you sitting here, you had something to say yesterday.
Yes,
and now you don't have
exactly.
anything to say now.
Well, we all compartmentalize parts of our lives.
What
We
do you,
all
what,
do
what, what
that.
do you compartmentalize?
There's lots that I compartmentalize. We all do that.
You're doing it again.
Well, no, I'm talking about myself. And we don't, just because we're on a reality show doesn't mean that we have to expose, you know, our toe fungus. What I heard you say just now, I understand your point of view.
I just think if the tables were turned and it was us, this group would not let it fly.
I think you just made an excellent point.
Oh, do tell. Where? Tell me.
I don't know, I just got mesmerized by Jennifer's bosoms bouncing.
My makeup artist goes, can you
can't stop
laugh when you're
looking.
on camera? And I went like this. You know what? My bra is a little bit, and then the dress is a little
Give
tight.
her
And then
some.
they had the body mic. So there's not room in there for my bosoms. They're looking for somewhere to go. They're like,
Sutton knew that she went too low.
You need to pick on somebody else whose wallet fits.
I'm sure people in private, not with me there, but they had told her that it was too low.
You think you're bigger than her?
I think my wallet is.
Would have been nice to hear anyone say in that
that it
moment
was
when
too
I
low.
was there, hey, that's not cool. But I didn't get that. But I think in private she may have gotten, you know, some rumblings that it was too far, too low. So I think she felt obliged to apologize.
I said something at the caviar party that didn't feel like myself at all. I sincerely apologize to you.
It just doesn't feel genuine.
So I remember you were saying, that's really bad what I said. I
Yeah.
feel so bad.
I did.
And I have to
We talked about
apologize.
it,
And
too.
you were looking for the moment, the right moment to apologize. You really wanted to find the right
Yeah.
place to apologize.
It was below the belt and mean-hearted.
Basically, she didn't want to give Sutton the time of day.
It was kind of like, next.
If you had at any point since then maybe had said that, if you had felt sorry,
I'm doing it now. I'm doing
you're
it now.
very passive aggressive, and you don't really.
She's actually saying that she's apologizing to you.
But you're not accepting it.
That comment, I would have a hard time moving forward from that, honestly.
It's almost like you shouldn't have said it, or you should have said sorry right away.
I get why Dorit is mad, but you can say thanks. But then again, hindsight is 20/20. She's in the middle of the worst time in her life, so you know I can't stand on the sidelines and say and point the finger because I'd be pointing it back at myself. I wasn't great either.
The apology it felt very singular and just about that moment when I felt like there was a string of things that I was hurt by.
Right.
Ask you a question.
Speaking of best friends, I'm sorry, I
This is
hate to
the
interrupt.
thing
I'm so
about.
sorry. You're such a bitch.
Excuse me?
Listen, you're angry, and you're not angry at me. You're angry at your life.
And so it didn't feel like that apology was enough of a bridge to, you know, kind of mend fences. You don't really feel bad. You just feel like, you know.
Right, I got caught.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I went too far.
Yes.
Okay, and now
Yes.
let me look like I'm really trying so I don't look like the asshole to everybody.
And you know, I felt bad because I knew how long you were going over it. I'm looking for the perfect place. I think I'll say it here. I think I'll say it there. Working on your apology and everything like that. And she was like, just like yawn. Next.
She's such a bitch.
And Sutton's sitting there like a little Bambi, like, that went, well, okay.
I'm living in a place where I need real truth. And so I couldn't.
But I think then you could have then perhaps positioned it that way.
Absolutely,
You
I'm
know?
sure I could have
Which is that
articulated it better.
because what I was getting from that, right, was that you're like, look, I don't care. This is not real. This doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not accepting it. Now that you're saying it, I'm like, oh, okay. I can understand that. You're like, look, you're only apologizing to me because you feel like everybody sees it as wrong, and that's why you're apologizing.
Yes.
Now, that is a specific reason to be mad and to not accept an apology.
Would you apologize again? Or do you feel like you've done
Oh,
enough?
no. We've done that.
Yeah,
You
we've
get
done
one
that.
from me from now on. One.
Here, Garcelle and I show up in the exact same dress. No! What are the odds?
Oh, how embarrassing.
It's so crazy because
I said you both wore it.
I went to the store and I was like, oh my God, should I buy it? It was, it was kind of pricey. I'm like, should I buy it? I'm sure I have a white dress at home, but I'm like, no, let me do it. Had no idea that Kyle was gonna show up.
You both
in the
look
same
gorgeous,
dress.
and it looked different on both of you.
It did.
I didn't even know you were wearing the same dress until somebody pointed it out.
Well, that's silly.
But ditto.
This dress is such a unique dress. It's not even mine. I borrowed it from Alexia, and she wore it to the white party last year at the SoFi Stadium. I mean, the fact that this has happened now, happened with Lisa Rinna and me. Get out of here! We really should have like a shared photo album of the outfits that we're wearing in this group because, I mean, the fashion police are just gonna have a field day with this.
Did Kathy think that you were Kyle again because you were dressed in the same
Right,
dress?
exactly.
Oh my God! How are you? Good. Wait, I thought you were Kyle.
I thought you were Kyle.
Who wore it best?
Well, Garcelle's a lot taller than me, so she already has one up on me.